AskReddit by Yanimob. What happened to the girl that got pregnant in your high school? Their parents made them get married. It didn't last a year past graduation. I heard she's on her fourth husband now. The girl. Lol. My high school in the 80s had a full-on daycare. Home ec students took care of the kids on shifts. She's my sister. Her baby daddy was in jail most of the pregnancy and just got out this year. The kid is 3 now. She's very toxic. The kid is toxic? 3 is pretty young to be toxic. Most kids are just assholes, but they grow out of it. She married the kid's father, but he passed away in his early 30s. She'd be 47 now with 31 and 29-year-old kids. Almost the same story. Except he passed away at 24. She's now 44 with a 27 and 21. They both finished school. She finished college and he was in the military. She was my ex. My best friend at the time was the one that knocked her up at 16. 15 years-ish later they're still together. They've got 4 kids now I think, and last I heard the now husband just graduated law school. All in all, I'm really happy for them. It seems like everything worked out. Some shitty best friend though. She got stabbed in the stomach by her baby daddy's girlfriend. Yup. Everyone lived, except the fetus. Stabby girl went to jail. No idea what happened after that. Deleted. She had a miscarriage and didn't tell her boyfriend or her family about any of it. Girl? Singular? We had 2 in middle school, and this was small town Indiana. The most memorable one from high school got married, and they walked across the stage at graduation as Emma and Mrs. XXXX to wild applause. Sadly, a few months later they were both killed when a tree fell on their car during a thunderstorm. Oh my god, that's tragic. She successfully completed her studies, but her husband went to prison. Probably a stupid question, but do you know why he's in jail? Her mom had her at 16 and she was pregnant at the same age. With hindsight, I think that gave her an advantage. Her youngest is 15 and she's been with the same guy ever since. They live happily in California. He's an AV lifer and she works at the post office. Some people are made for that life, but most are not. At all. I went to a Catholic school, so the girl that got pregnant shot herself in the head. Holy shit, that went dark quick. A girl I went to school with got pregnant at 13 and gave birth after she turned 14. Basically her parents raised her child as she was a kid herself. She got married later and had more kids. She was bullied a lot in HS. A girl in my siblings' class got pregnant about the same age. She became a total mess after that, including catching prostitution and drug charges at one point. She heavily struggled with substances. Thankfully her kid was with her parents. I think she's doing better now, or at least I hope she is, as she has another kid. She had an abortion and went on to graduate college, married the guy, had 4 kids, and a successful career. Surprised this isn't coming up more in the comments. Abortion is controversial, but it exists for a reason. I am the girl. It was a rough road, but I'm now living my best life. Took me till my 40s, but now, with way grown children, I still have some youth left to experience some cool shit. I was the girl with a fucked up abusive family, seeking attention anywhere I could find it. I wish I could go back and hug her. She deserved love then way more than I do now. She was just a kid. Hugs. That girl was actually my best friend. She ended up coming back to graduate and went on to raise a very good little girl named Anastasia. Unfortunately, when her daughter was 3, they committed suicide due to deep depression and mania from untreated bipolar. She was a good mom, an incredible best friend, and I wish every day we could have her back. I'm so sorry for your loss. Deleted. I will never understand what goes through these people's heads popping out 5 kids in these circumstances. Even for a deadbeat meth head, wouldn't you have the common sense to realize a baby kinda gets in the way of you doing meth head things? I like how this question implies there was only one. Right. I'm counting 14 off the top of my head, but I'm sure there were many I've forgotten or didn't know about. She eventually went to college on a scholarship for women's soccer and became a lawyer. Yeah, I feel like I also know one of the few success stories here. Girl in my friend group got pregnant at 17, senior year. Had the kid, dumped the dad, went to nursing school, and eventually got married to another guy. Seemed to have a beautiful life carved out, but her husband very tragically passed away a couple of years ago. She still seems to be doing well and raising her kids alone, but it was really sad. Nothing. She's doing fine now. I think she went into engineering. She was in grade 7 and it was just kids messing around as far as I know. Her parents made her get an abortion. This was rural India. Children out of wedlock is so extremely taboo. There was no question of having the child. I absolutely cannot imagine a teenager here having a child. You do not get to choose to keep it. That's kinda nice to hear. Children shouldn't be making children. Her wealthy Catholic boyfriend insisted on sex without birth control, then refused to pay for an abortion. She begged for money for the procedure from his poor friend who did help her. BTW, the boyfriend is now some kind of Catholic activist who became even wealthier. She's a secretary who never left her hometown. I married her brother and her son is my nephew and I love him to death. Didn't see the eye and thought she married her brother. Had to do a double take. I became a nurse and cared for the elderly for 20 years. My daughter is grown, lives with her boyfriend and studies at the university. Congratulations on your success. A lot of these stories have grim endings, so I'm really excited to see something different. Christian school, so they made her have the baby. Ruined her life. She would have been a serious college athlete. Her boyfriend was a total fuckboy who immediately knocked up another girl at a different school. Wow, it seems like every story here involving Christianity has turned out to be awful. Who would have guessed this? She's still my sister. And she was a grown mother at age 35. And she's been married to the father, for over 45 years now. The football coach has to pay child support and she gets to drive his car. Took me a second, but the guy was the football coach when she got pregnant, or is the current football coach? She had a bipolar mother who was severely abusive to her and her siblings. She got pregnant freshman year and had her baby when she was 15. She stayed in school and graduated with a cosmetology certificate. At age 19 she got into a relationship with an addict and eventually started doing heroin and meth. She got arrested for manufacturing methamphetamine in her house while her kid was also there. She was in prison for 5 years. She's been sober now for 8 years and she is an addiction counselor. Her son, unfortunately, was not as lucky. He's currently in prison for armed robbery. The poor kid never had a chance.